The galaxy had seen many conquests. Civilizations rose and fell under the shadow of the Zerath Empire, a species feared for their power, technology, and cruelty. For hundreds of years, no world had resisted them. The Zerath came with giant fleets, destroyed the defenses and forced the survivors to kneel. To them it was routine. Another planet, another victory, another resource to take. Now their eyes turned to a small blue world at the edge of the spiral arm, Earth. From orbit, Earth looked peaceful. Oceans glistened, continents spread like green jewels, and storms swirled in white circles. To the Zerath, it looked like a weak and divided world. Their spies had studied humans from afar. They saw endless wars among nations, selfish leaders, and a lack of unity. "This species is soft," said one of the invasion commanders. "They fight among themselves. They will never resist us together." The fleet admiral, a tall creature with dark-scaled skin and cold silver eyes, gave a cruel smile. "Then Earth will fall in days. Let the galaxy watch. This will be quick." The first shadows on. A clear night in New York, people saw the stars disappear. At first they thought it was an eclipse or a strange weather phenomenon. But then the sky broke open. Massive shapes, black and metallic, filled the heavens. Ships the size of mountains hovered above the cities. Their hulls shined with alien symbols, and glowing energy pulsed along their sides. Panic spread instantly. Cars crashed in the streets. Phones rang endlessly. Families rushed into basements, into shelters, anywhere they thought was safe. Across the world, the same scene unfolded. In London, in Beijing, in Islamabad, in Rio, millions of people lifted their heads and screamed as shadows swallowed the sunlight. The news networks tried to explain. Unidentified flying objects, reports of massive crafts, possible alien contact. But within minutes, broadcasts cut off. Power grids collapsed. Satellites blinked out one by one. The invaders had seized control of Earth's skies. The message above the White House, a ship larger than any building, descended slowly. A beam of light shot down, forming a giant hologram visible across half the continent. The image of a Zerath commander appeared, towering, armored with sharp teeth and eyes that glowed like fire. His voice, translated into hundreds of human languages, thundered across the world. "Humans of Earth, you are now subjects of the Zerath Empire. Do not resist. Lay down your weapons. Your leaders will surrender all authority to us. Those who obey will live as servants. Those who resist will be destroyed." The broadcast repeated in every city on every channel that still worked. For a moment, the world fell silent. Was this the end of Earth? Would humanity kneel, like all other conquered worlds? Human fear and resolve in bunkers, homes, and government offices, leaders argued. Some said surrender was the only option. Others shouted that humans must fight. In Washington, the U.S. president slammed his fist on the table. "If we kneel today, we'll kneel forever. These invaders think we're weak. Let's show them what Earth does to invaders." In Moscow, a general growled, "For once, it is not Russia or America, not East or West. It is all of us. If Earth does not stand together, we will not stand at all." In villages across Africa, in mountain towns in South America, in the deserts of the Middle East, in the crowded streets of Asia, ordinary people were already preparing. They grabbed hunting rifles, farming tools, knives, anything sharp. Some prayed, some cried. But none forgot one thing. This was their home. First contact turns bloody. The Zerath expected quick surrender. Instead, when their soldiers landed in New Delhi, they were met with chaos. Civilians did not bow. They threw stones, Molotov cocktails, and homemade explosives. Soldiers in uniform rushed out of hiding with rocket launchers, striking the armored invaders before they could set up control posts. In Paris, a Zerath squad marched through the streets ordering civilians to kneel. Instead, they were ambushed from rooftops. Fire rained down from windows. The aliens roared in anger as humans refused to obey. The invaders had seen resistance before on other worlds, but never like this. Normally, after a show of power, Species surrendered. But humans were strange. Fear did not break them. Fear made them fight harder. Watching eyes fare across the stars, other alien civilizations were secretly watching. Hidden satellites and relay stations captured every moment of Earth's invasion. The Zorathi, a peaceful species of traders, whispered in disbelief. They are resisting already? But they are only in their infancy. They do not even have interstellar ships. A warrior race called the Kural watched with interest. The Zerath have always crushed their enemies. If humans survive even 1 week, they are different. And so the galaxy held its breath. Uniting the world back on Earth, something impossible was happening. For centuries, humans had been divided by borders, by politics, by religion. But now, facing an enemy from the stars, the old lines vanished. Military commanders from rival nations shared plans instantly. Scientists sent data across networks, helping each other decode alien tech. Hackers from different countries united, trying to break into Zerath communication systems. The world had never been one people before. But in the shadow of alien warships, Earth became a single planet, the Hook of Defiance. 3 days into the invasion, the Zerath expected Earth's governments to send surrender messages. Instead, something else happened. Across the globe, all surviving radio channels suddenly carried the same signal. A human voice, calm but filled with iron, spoke to both humans and aliens. This is Earth. We are not subjects. We are not slaves. If you came for war, you will find it here. And we will not stop until the last invader is gone. The message spread fast, bouncing from underground transmitters, hacked satellites, and even Morse code signals sent by ships at sea. For the first time, the Zerath felt something they had not known in centuries. Doubt. The invasion of Earth had begun. But already, whispers traveled through the alien fleets. These humans, they are not like the others. The Zerath Empire had invaded dozens of worlds before. Their strategy was always the same: strike fast, crush the leaders, and force the population into submission. It always worked. But on Earth, things were already different. Instead of surrender, they faced chaos. Instead of obedience, they met defiance. And instead of fear breaking humanity, fear gave them unity. Streets of Fire, in New Delhi, the Zerath deployed shock troops, giant armored soldiers with plasma rifles that could melt steel. They expected civilians to kneel. Instead, the city became a battlefield. Crowds of humans fought with whatever they had. Some threw gasoline bombs that exploded against alien armor. Others set up barricades with buses and cars. Soldiers from the Indian Army, who had survived the first orbital bombardments, launched rocket attacks from rooftops. The Zerath weapons were powerful, but the humans were everywhere, hiding in alleys, shooting from windows, disappearing before the aliens could strike back. One Zerath officer growled, "They fight like vermin. They do not stand in open battle. They crawl, they strike, they vanish." But to the humans, it was not cowardice. It was survival. Paris burns, across the world. The same story repeated. In Paris, Zerath soldiers marched down the Champs-Élysées, blasting their weapons into the air. They shouted commands in translated French, "Kneel or be destroyed," but no one obeyed. Instead, gunfire erupted from balconies. Explosives hidden under the street detonated, tearing holes in the alien formation. Civilians rushed forward, throwing fire, swinging iron bars, stabbing with kitchen knives. A French resistance fighter covered in dust and blood shouted to his comrades, "They think we are weak? Show them France has not forgotten how to fight." The Zerath were forced to retreat temporarily, something unheard of in their history of conquest. Guerrilla war. Unlike other species, humans did not fight fair. They turned every weakness into a weapon. In the mountains of Afghanistan, entire villages lured alien patrols into ambushes using caves and hidden tunnels. In the jungles of South America, fighters struck and disappeared under the cover of trees, confusing thermal scanners with decoys. In American suburbs, militias used drones bought from stores to drop homemade explosives on alien tanks. In Europe, Hackers broke into alien communication networks, sending false orders that led to Zerath soldiers firing on each other. The more the aliens tried to crush resistance, the stronger it grew. A captured alien soldier admitted to his commander, "They do not fear death. They fight knowing they will die. And still they charge us." The shock of adaptation. Within days, humans had begun studying captured weapons. Engineers, scientists, and mechanics worked in secret bunkers, breaking open alien rifles and scanners. One American scientist whispered in disbelief as he examined a plasma rifle. "Their technology is advanced, but the principles are understandable. We can copy this." In less than a week, prototypes of human-modified energy weapons appeared. They were not as polished as Zerath designs, but they worked. The aliens were stunned. Other conquered species had taken decades to understand even the simplest devices. But humans adapted in days. The Zerath admiral frowned at the reports. "Impossible. They are primitives. They should not be able to—" He stopped, staring at the data. His scaled hands tightened into fists. "These humans, they are dangerous." The cost of defiance. But resistance came at a price. In Beijing, entire districts were reduced to ashes after heavy bombardment. In Cairo, pyramids shook as plasma fire leveled neighborhoods. In Los Angeles, millions fled the city as alien craft turned freeways into rivers of fire. Families were torn apart. Children were lost in the chaos, graves filled faster than anyone could count. And yet, even in tragedy, humans refused to break. A mother in Cairo, holding her son's hand as they hid in rubble, whispered, "We will not kneel. Not now. Not ever." The galaxy watches far away. Alien species who had once fallen to the Zerath now watched Earth struggle through secret broadcasts. The Veyari, a timid race of scholars, trembled. If humans survive this, the galaxy will change forever. The Kuril warriors, usually proud of their own strength, looked uneasy. The Zerath may have met their match. Humans fight as if every breath is their last. This is terrifying. Rumors spread quickly. Some called humans reckless. Others called them monsters. But one truth was clear. No species had ever resisted the Zerath like this. Unity born in fire, in a hidden bunker under London, leaders from every surviving government connected through secure lines. Old rivalries were gone. America, Russia, China, India, Europe, Africa, everyone spoke as one. A Russian general said, "For centuries we argued, now we have no choice. Earth must stand together." An African leader added, "If even one of us falls, the rest will follow." This is not about nations anymore, this is about humanity. For the first time in history, Earth acted like a single people. Small victories, and then victories began to appear. In Mexico City, humans hacked into an alien supply ship, forcing it to crash into its own troops. In Germany, engineers turned old subway tunnels into a hidden base that launched surprise strikes. In the Pacific Ocean, submarines from multiple nations ambushed an alien warship, sinking it with coordinated torpedo attacks. Each small win lifted morale. Each alien loss shook the invaders. The Zerath admiral slammed his claws against the command table. "This was supposed to be easy. Why do they not surrender?" A shaken officer replied, "Because, Admiral, they are human." The voice of Earth. 10 days after the invasion began, the Zerath sent a final demand: surrender or be exterminated. In response, a single broadcast spread across the planet. It was carried by hacked satellites, underground radios, even Morse code on naval ships. A young, human soldier's voice spoke firm and clear. "Zerath Empire, you came to conquer us. You thought we would kneel, but Earth kneels to no one. We may die, but for every human you kill, 10 more will rise. This is our world, and you will never have it." The speech echoed not only across Earth, but across the galaxy. Billions of alien eyes widened as they listened. No world had ever spoken to the Zerath like this. The hook of fear in the command ship above Earth, the Zerath admiral sat in silence. His generals shifted nervously. Reports of human victories, human defiance, human adaptation filled the screens. Finally, he said, almost to himself, if they can fight like this now, in their infancy, what will they become in 1,000 years? The bridge grew quiet. For the first time the conquerors of the galaxy felt something strange. Fear. The invasion of Earth was supposed to be over by now. The Zerath Empire always won in days. But weeks had passed and Earth still burned with resistance. The humans had not surrendered. They had not begged. Instead, they fought harder with every loss. For every city the Zerath destroyed, 10 new resistance cells appeared. For every human who died, a dozen more swore revenge. The galaxy watched with shock. The conquerors were bleeding, and the so-called primitive humans were the ones making them bleed. Fire that united the world. The skies of Earth glowed red with burning ships. In the ruins of Beijing, survivors rebuilt barricades from rubble. In Washington, underground bunkers became command centers. In Moscow, scientists worked day and night to decode alien devices. Borders no longer mattered. Nations no longer fought each other. Humanity had become one army. A human leader said during a secret broadcast, "We were divided for centuries. Now we are one." If the Zerath thought they were fighting a planet, they were wrong. They are fighting humanity itself. The message spread everywhere, lifting spirits. The Zerath strike harder. The Zerath Empire grew desperate. Their admiral, furious at his failures, ordered massive strikes. Entire cities were targeted. Plasma fire rained down from the skies. Millions more died. In London, alien walkers crushed through streets, destroying everything in sight. In Scifi, Paulo bombardments turned districts into ash. In Tokyo, alien drones hunted survivors like prey. The admiral growled, "If they will not kneel, then let Earth become a graveyard." But once again his plan failed. Humans did not break. They fought harder. They rebuilt faster. Each act of destruction only fueled more rage, more unity, more fire in human hearts. A strange human power. The Zerath commanders struggled to understand. Other species always collapsed under fear. But humans seemed to grow stronger because of it. A soldier reported to his commander after losing a patrol in South America. They should have fled. Instead, they ran toward us. Some carried nothing but knives and fire. "Admiral, they do not fear death." The admiral narrowed his glowing eyes. "Then what do they fear?" The soldier hesitated before answering. "Nothing." It was not true. Humans felt fear, but unlike others, fear made them dangerous, adapting faster than anyone. In hidden bases, human scientists continued studying alien tech. In Germany, engineers modified plasma rifles to be lighter and easier for human soldiers to use. In Japan, programmers cracked alien drones, turning them against their masters. In America, scientists discovered ways to shield vehicles from plasma heat, creating armored transports. In Russia, mechanics built rockets tipped with stolen alien power cores, creating devastating weapons. Within weeks, humans were no longer just defending with old weapons. They were building their own hybrid technology. The galaxy whispered in fear. If they can do this in weeks, what will they do in years? A war of traps humans could not match the Zerath fleet in space. But on the ground, they created nightmares. In the deserts, they lured Zerath tanks into canyons rigged with explosives. In jungles, they spread heat traps that tricked alien scanners into thinking the forest itself was alive. In snowy mountains, they used avalanches to bury patrols. In cities, they built hidden tunnels, striking and vanishing like ghosts. The Zerath began to feel hunted. Their soldiers, once fearless, now walked in terror of the shadows. One alien commander shouted in anger after losing another squad, "This is not war, it is madness." But for humans, madness was survival. The captured commander. One night, in the ruins of Warsaw, human fighters ambushed and captured a Zerath officer. The aliens thought humans would kill him. Instead, they interrogated him. The officer sneered at first. You cannot win. No one defeats the Zerath. But the humans asked him strange questions, not about surrender, not about mercy. They asked about the Empire itself, its fleets, its weaknesses, its history. The officer began to tremble. He realized something horrifying. The humans were not fighting only to survive. They were studying the Empire itself. When he finally broke, he whispered, "If you keep fighting like this, the galaxy will fear you more than us." A global counterattack. After weeks of bleeding, humans decided to strike back, not just defend, all. Across Earth, resistance groups launched coordinated attacks. In Africa, fighters stormed an alien command base and captured valuable equipment. In India, armies pushed back invaders from cities with combined human-alien hybrid weapons. In North America, captured drones swarmed alien ships, forcing them to retreat from major zones. The world shook with the sound of humans shouting one word together: fight! For the first time, the Zerath admitted defeat in several regions. The Galaxy Trembles reports spread fast across the stars. Alien traders carried whispers from ship to ship. Hidden networks passed secret messages. The story of Earth became the story of legend. The humans are still standing. The Zerath cannot crush them. They learn faster than anyone. They are not prey. They are predators. Entire worlds under Zerath control began to whisper of rebellion. If humans could fight, maybe they could too. The galaxy trembled, not because of the Zerath, but because of humanity. The hook of the turning point, on the Zerath flagship above Earth, the admiral stared at reports. His empire had never lost before. Yet here, on this primitive world, his soldiers bled daily. His claws dug into the command table. His voice was low, filled with something he hated to admit. "Withdraw half the fleet, we must regroup." His officers stared in shock. Retreat? From humans? Impossible, but the order was given. On Earth, when humans saw alien ships pulling back, cheers erupted. For the first time, they had forced the mighty Zerath to retreat. Humanity had done the unthinkable. The invasion was no longer about survival. It was about victory. The Zerath Empire had come to Earth expecting quick victory. Instead, weeks of war had drained them. Their fleets had suffered losses, their soldiers lived in fear, and worst of all, humans were learning faster than anyone thought possible. To when retreat of half the invasion fleet was the first sign. To the Zerath, it was a tactical regrouping. To the humans, it was a signal the enemy could bleed. The enemy could lose. And once humanity tasted that truth, the war changed forever. The call to arms from every hidden bunker and underground base, a message spread. The Zerath are not invincible. They retreat when we strike hard enough. Now is the time. Now is the hour. Rise up, Earth. Push them back. The call was heard in every language, every city, every ruined village. Farmers in Africa sharpened machetes and turned tractors into armored vehicles. Mechanics in Detroit welded alien rifles onto jeeps. Villagers in Asia dug tunnels that connected entire towns. Hackers across Europe spread false signals to confuse alien drones. Every human, soldier, or civilian became a fighter. Cities reclaimed. The counterattack began in silence. Then all at once across the world, cities rose against their occupiers. In Mexico City, hidden human militias erupted from sewers and underground tunnels, striking alien command centers. The Zerath were caught off guard, their patrols ambushed, before they could respond. In Moscow, Russian and Chinese forces joined together, pushing through the ruins with tanks modified with alien tech. Their guns burned hot with plasma shots that pierced Zerath armor. In New York, skyscrapers became sniper nests. From rooftops, humans fired captured energy rifles, cutting down alien soldiers one by one. For the first time since the invasion began, Earth's cities no longer fell silent. Instead, they roared with the sound of battle and human defiance. War in the skies. The Zerath still held superiority in the skies. Their warships floated like dark gods above Earth, firing down at will. But humans had been preparing, using captured technology, Engineers in underground labs built hybrid aircraft, jets equipped with alien energy cores. They were rough, unstable, and dangerous to fly, but pilots volunteered without hesitation. Above London, the first of these hybrid jets launched into the sky. They streaked upward, flames trailing behind. The Zerath ships opened fire, expecting easy kills. But the human jets moved fast, darting unpredictably, each pilot willing to die if it meant one kill. Explosions lit the clouds as the first Zerath cruiser fell, its engines tearing apart under a barrage of missiles tipped with stolen alien cores. Across the planet, other hybrid squadrons took to the air. Humanity had found its wings again, boarding the giants, but air victories were not enough. Humanity needed to take the fight into space. At secret launch sites, rockets built by multiple nations were prepared. They were not sleek starships. They were ugly, patched-together machines filled with human soldiers. Each rocket carried teams trained to board alien ships directly. One mission launched from Kazakhstan. The rocket tore through the atmosphere, shaking violently, before smashing into the side of a Zerath warship. The hull cracked, and human soldiers poured inside. The fighting was brutal, hand-to-hand combat in narrow halls, plasma bolts bouncing off steel, screams echoing in the dark. The Zerath had never seen anything like it. Other species broke when cornered. Humans charged forward even when wounded, even when outnumbered. By the end of the battle, the warship was burning, and when the survivors returned to Earth, they carried crates of stolen alien technology. The message spread. Humans could not only fight on Earth, they could take the war into space. Fear in alien eyes across the galaxy. More species tuned in to hidden broadcasts about Earth. The Veyari whispered, "They are evolving in weeks what took us centuries." The Kural warriors, proud of their strength, grew uneasy. These humans, they fight as though death itself does not matter. Even enslaved species under Zerath control began to whisper rebellion. If Earth could fight, maybe they could too. The Zerath Empire, once the unquestioned master of the stars, was starting to look vulnerable. The Admiral's Rajan, the flagship. The Zerath Admiral slammed his clawed hand against a control panel. Reports filled the screens. Cities lost, fleets damaged, entire legions destroyed. "This is impossible," he roared. "They are primitives. They should be begging for mercy." One of his generals, pale and shaking, whispered, "They are not like the others. Admiral, they are human." The Admiral glared at him. For a moment he wanted to execute the officer for speaking such words. But deep down, the Admiral knew he was right. Human strategy, in a hidden base under Antarctica. Earth's United Command. Met in secret. Generals, scientists, and leaders gathered around a massive holographic map. "Our enemy is pulling back in orbit," one general said. "They are afraid of losses." A scientist added, "Their supply lines are stretched. We can cut them off, force them into retreat." Another leader spoke firmly, "We do not wait anymore. We take the fight to them." And so, humanity formed a single plan: drive the invaders from Earth completely. The Battle of Three Continents, the greatest battles of the war, erupted almost at the same time. In Africa, human forces surrounded an alien fortress, using swarms of drones to blind scanners before storming the gates. In Asia, massive human armies pushed through cities, supported by hybrid tanks and jets. Civilians fought alongside soldiers, throwing fire from rooftops. In North America, humans captured a downed alien ship and turned its weapons against the fleet above, forcing the withdrawal of several cruisers. The war had turned. Earth was not the one being conquered anymore. It was the Zerath who were struggling to survive. The moment of realization. One night, in the ruins of Berlin, a group of exhausted human fighters sat around a fire. Their bodies were bruised, their clothes torn, their eyes heavy with fatigue. One of them whispered, "We should be dead by now. No species should survive this." Another answered, "We're not surviving. We're winning." And in that quiet moment, the truth became clear. Humanity had crossed the line. They were no longer fighting to defend their planet. They were fighting to defeat an empire. The Hook of Defiance. On the 10th week of the invasion, something happened the galaxy had never seen before. The Zerath Empire, masters of hundreds of worlds, rulers of the stars, gave the order, retreat. Their fleets pulled back, limping and burning, chased by human hybrid aircraft. Their soldiers abandoned cities, fleeing under heavy fire, and all across Earth cheers shook the ruins. Humanity had done the impossible. The war was not over. The Zerath would regroup, they would return. But their first defeat was sealed. The galaxy, watching in silence, felt the same chill. If this was what humanity could do when attacked, what would happen when they decided to strike first? The Zerath Empire had come to Earth thinking they were unstoppable. Weeks of battles, millions of casualties, and the loss of their technology had proven them wrong. For the first time in history, the invaders were forced to retreat, not in strategy, but in fear, and for humanity, this was only the beginning. The retreat of the Zerath from orbit, the remaining Zerath ships limped away, burning and damaged. Humans did not stop firing. Hybrid aircraft streaked across the skies, harassing, retreating. Cruisers, missiles, rockets, and drones forced the alien fleet to scatter in panic. Down below, civilians and soldiers cheered. Cities were still in ruins, but humanity had survived. Not only that, they had driven the invaders from their homeworld. In the war room under Antarctica, leaders watched the retreating fleet on holographic screens. A young general said, "We did it. They are leaving." An older scientist shook his head, eyes wide. "No, this is bigger than that. They are leaving. But the galaxy has just learned the truth. Humans are different." Messages across the stars as Zerath ships fled. Other alien civilizations monitored the battles in secret. The story spread quickly. The humans fought without fear. They adapted our technology in days. They pushed the Zerath from cities, from skies, and even from orbit. The galaxy had seen the Zerath crush hundreds of worlds, and now, one planet had beaten them back. Among traders, warriors, and scholars, whispers turned to fear. If humans fight like this on one planet, what will they do to the rest of the galaxy? Even some Zerath officers muttered, "We have underestimated them, and it may cost us dearly." Humanity's victory. Back on Earth, the victory was not clean. Cities were destroyed, millions were dead, and resources were scarce. But for every human who had fallen, 10 more had risen to fight. People rebuilt what they could, salvaged alien technology, and strengthened defenses. Scientists, engineers, and even civilians continued to study Zerath technology. Earth was no longer defenseless. In just a few weeks, humans had shown the galaxy that they were a species that could survive, adapt, and overcome anything. A broadcast went out from the Antarctic Command Center. "People of Earth, today we celebrate. We have survived the invaders. We have shown them what humanity is, but we will not stop here. We will build, we will prepare, and we will make sure the galaxy knows Earth does not kneel." Lessons learned. The Zerath Empire was humiliated. Commanders argued over mistakes, soldiers blamed each other, and generals realized one horrifying truth. Earth's humans were not like any other species they had conquered. They were fearless. They were clever. They adapted in ways no species had ever done. And they fought with unity that no conqueror had ever faced. For the first time, the Zerath had a species they could not simply crush. Other alien civilizations, watching in secret, began to reconsider their own place in the galaxy. If humans could fight like this with only primitive weapons and no interstellar fleet, what would happen when humanity took the fight beyond their solar system? The spark of fear in the Zerath flagship, the Admiral stared at Earth. His face was dark, his eyes cold, but even he felt it. Fear. "This species is dangerous," his officers whispered among themselves. "They are not like any species we have faced. If they grow, If they unite, if they strike, the galaxy itself may tremble. That fear spread to the fleet. Even the Zerath soldiers, who had been raised to see themselves as invincible, understood that Earth was a world unlike any other. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of humanity, and no one would ever forget it, rebuilding and rising. Humans did not waste the victory. From the ashes of war, they rebuilt faster than anyone expected. Cities were restored, using alien materials scavenged from battlefields. Scientists refined hybrid technology, preparing for possible future threats. Military leaders trained a unified planetary defense, one that could respond faster than any alien fleet. The planet's leaders began coordinating for the first time, as a single united species. Humanity had not only survived, they had grown stronger. The galaxy began to take notice. Scouts from other worlds arrived, cautiously observing Earth, reporting back. Do not approach lightly. The humans, they are unlike anything we know. The human message from orbit, a single message broadcast across space. We are humans. We survived the greatest empire the galaxy has ever known. We do not kneel, we do not beg. We will fight, we will learn, and we will grow. And every species in this galaxy should know, underestimating humanity is the gravest mistake you can make. It was not a threat, it was a statement. And the galaxy listened. A galaxy in shock for centuries, the Zerath had ruled fear. They had crushed resistance before it even formed. No species had dared fight back like Earth had. But now the galaxy whispered, the humans are not weak. They are not fragile. They are predators in their own right. Even the EU8 smallest, most timid races began to prepare for the possibility that humanity could become the galaxy's dominant force. The Zerath retreat was not just a military loss, it was a warning to all. The human legacy on Earth. Children played among the ruins. Soldiers rebuilt homes. Scientists looked at the stars, not with fear but with curiosity. Humanity had survived the impossible. They had faced annihilation and risen victorious. In secret, the leaders of Earth knew the truth. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Humanity was not a species to be conquered. Humanity was a force to be respected, feared, and studied. The Zerath Empire would heal, regroup, and perhaps return one day. But humans were ready. For the first time in history, one species had frightened the galaxy itself. The final HFY moment, standing on a rebuilt hill in New York, a young fighter looked up at the stars. Her face was smudged with ash, her hands burned from working with weapons and tools, but her eyes were bright. She whispered, not to anyone in particular, but to the galaxy itself. They came for Earth. They thought we would kneel. But we fought. We survived. And now the galaxy knows. Humans are not to be underestimated. From the ruins of a world nearly destroyed, humanity had emerged stronger, smarter, and more united than ever. The galaxy would never forget.